Right, so it's Friday. Currently 9 weeks out tomorrow, so I thought I'd kind of put this up. I normally do this sort of stuff when I'm competing, so it's quite good to look back on and stuff like that for me and for others to learn about what I'm doing, how things change. I am about to go do morning fasted cardio. So far I've had plenty of water. I've had 2 Thermopure tablets. I take these because for me, I really struggle to get my body temperature up first thing in the morning, and they just kickstart that. They've got a nice bit of caffeine in them as well. So obviously I get the energy from that, and I get that nice sweat on. For me, like when I go to do this sort of cardio, getting the heart rate up and getting the sweat on is one of the biggest things I look for. If I'm going for a walk, I'm not too fussed, I'll just have a black coffee. But when I go to do moderate intensity cardio on like the cross training or something, I'm gauging it off of body temperature, sweat and heart rate, so they definitely help with that. I'll also take half a scoop of clear whey, which is just whey isolate, 10 grams of protein in half a scoop, so just to make me feel a little bit more at ease. Make sure my protein intake's there, and protect the muscles rather than having BCAAs, because there's a lot of conflicting stuff on there. I'd rather just have a whole source of protein. And then I put 1 scoop of amino energy just to sip on whilst I'm doing the cardio. I'm gonna be doing 30 minutes, around 300 calories. So this kind of, just gives me that little kick. I have 2 tablets of these. A full serving to 150 milligrams, which is 3 tablets. So I have 2 of these, and then I have 1 of this. I'm still getting the 150 milligrams of caffeine, rather than having 3 and then 200 milligrams is a bit too much for me. Whereas this seems to just be that nice spot. And when I finish cardio as well, I'm still quite energized. I'm not like dipping from it or anything, because this starts to kick in more towards the end. So it's quite a good little mix. I'm gonna take you through my food and stuff today. I have a lot of clients now ask how I prepare my meals and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed in the last couple of years. So I'll probably go through all that as well. Right, so meal 2, it's going to be 60 grams of oats, 15 grams of peanut butter, and then 20 grams of whey protein. I use rolled oats for my protein. Just get a bag of them. It's just, I think it's like 5 kilo bag, so 2.5 kilos. So you can imagine that lasts. I just get my peanut butter, another bulk buy, my protein, whey, my protein, and then I'll use soya milk. As things go on, I'll use like almond milk, which is only like 13 calories per 100 ml. I think this is 34 calories, so you can imagine you're losing 20 calories, 40 calories per meal. But at the moment I'm not worrying about that. Everything's going in the right direction, so I'll just continue to use this milk. But then as time goes on, obviously I will start making them small changes with that. Things like rice cakes and stuff like that will go for the lower calorie options, and it just helps reduce my calorie intake. So that's where like tracking macros and stuff comes in handy. But at the moment I'm just focusing on making sure I'm getting the right amount of food. So a lot of the time people always ask me how I make my oats and things like that. So I thought I'd do this. First off, I'll just record it and show you how I do it. So first, scales, 0 the bowl. Once that's done, the oats. So yeah, 60 grams. And then what I do is I then keep that 60 grams there. I then add my milk. I'll do it to about 240, so it's about 180 mil. Obviously it matters because of calories and stuff like that, but for me it's more about the texture and the actual getting the oats right, because I used to just do it by eye and things, and I just wouldn't get the same oats every time, whereas I know with this I know exactly what I'm getting. So like I say, I go for about 240 mil. So well, it's gone to 250, it doesn't really matter, but as you can see, enough there. All the oats are soaked. And then from there, I'll put them in the microwave for 2 minutes. Once they're done, I'll then put them back on the scales. Sometimes I might have to put them in for 30 seconds more, it just depends, like sometimes they're hot enough, sometimes they're not. Normally we'll put them in for about 15 to 30 seconds more, so it's about 2.5 minutes they take. Let them settle for a little bit, and then I'll put them back on the scale, zero it, put 15 grams of peanut butter in, mix that up, and then let that cool down. Once that's cooled down, I'll then put them back on the scales, and then I add the whey. I'll always let them cool down before you add the whey protein, because if you add the protein in before, the moisture goes into the whey and mixes with that, whereas you want the oats to soak up the moisture and then add the whey. That's where people seem to go wrong. I think they just chuck the whey in and it kind of like the water gets distributed everywhere and you get lumps and stuff like that, whereas if you do it this way, you'll find you won't get any lumps in your food. Right, so I've been working from home today, so I've got a lot of work done, but not massive amounts of activity. I did take a quick walk to the shops to get some potatoes and chicken to prep my next meal. So today's one of the days where I am at home, so I kind of cook meals fresh. If not, I do a lot of this the night before and just eat things cold. I'm just going to cover the next 2 meals. So the next 2 meals are going to be 250 grams of potato, 4 of like the chicken fillet strips, and then some veg. I'll show you all of that stuff. So I get baby potatoes. You know, people always ask me why I like having potatoes, mostly just because of the sheer volume you get for your calories. For example, if I was to eat a whole kilo bag of this, which would probably fill me up, I would think, throughout the day, I get a lot of decent sized meals. That's about the equivalent to 2 packs of the microwave rice. Now, you know, the way I look at that is 250 grams of potatoes versus half a pack of rice. Calories are a little bit less on the rice, but you know, we're talking about the same. I'm gonna get a lot more out of the potatoes than what I am from the rice, so that's why I choose that. There's no other real reason. Potatoes aren't special, apart from the fact that they taste good. And to be fair, the other side of it as well, I suppose, is that I can eat potatoes cold. I like potatoes cold. Rice cold is just, I just will not go near that, especially when it goes all hard. Like, you can't cook it the night before and stuff. So I'm going to take you through how I do it. So first I start off with weighing the potatoes. I weigh the potatoes to 500 grams, give or take. You know, I don't start cutting potatoes in half and putting them back. I try and find it so it's 500 grams. I then cut potatoes in half, quarters, whatever. Just allows them to boil a little bit quicker. And also, you feel like you get more volume in your meal rather than having like 6 potatoes. You feel like you've got a lot. And then I'll boil them for 20 minutes or so, give or take. The vegetables, I just use microwave veg bags. I don't think, yes, I have got some. So I just use microwave veg bags. And then I'll cook my chicken towards the end. With chicken, 1 calorie spray. I'll do 8 fillets now. Cook 1/2 of them, spray the top, flip them over, cook that half. Once they're cooked through, I break it all up, and then I use some seasoning. So I'll add chicken seasoning. This stuff just gives it a bit of flavour, goes quite nice. Once that's all done, then obviously I'll split that into 2 meals. So when I split them into 2 meals, I just go by eye. If one's slightly up, the other one's slightly down. You know, you're still getting the same amount. And that is literally what I do with the meals. Same with the oats, you know, people always ask me how I do my meals, how I cook my meals. You know, it's nothing complicated, but it's just one of them things I guess people don't really know that much about, so that's a lot of the reason why I'm doing this. Also to look back on and see how things are going. But yeah, that's going to be the next meals. I'll show you how I cook them. Yeah. And then this is my final meal of the day. This is like my pre-bed. I have 250 grams of soy yogurt at the moment. That's most likely going to come down to around 200. These are little things that I do to save calories.
I then add 10 to 15 grams of peanut butter, depending on what my fats are like. I'd rather be under than over, so I don't make much effort to make sure it's bang on. And then I'll add 20 grams of whey protein, mix that all up. Once that's mixed to how I like it and it's all a good consistency, I then break up 3 rice cakes. As you can see, pretty straightforward. Put them in, just gives the meal a bit more volume, and gives it that nice crunchy finish. Mix that again, and then you'll see I'll add my final rice cake, and pretty much once that's done, just enjoy. And that's all my food for the day. That's pretty much what I'm eating every day at the moment.